Live in studio right now, and this is so exciting because this year we have our own fantasy football team going when it comes to The Bachelor. Our producer Jessica is like an absolute aficionado.
And by the way, you were on my team, which unfortunately you're off my team.
Yeah. So live in studio, we have a local girl who unfortunately didn't get that last rose on the last episode. Welcome, Selma, to the Star Studio.
Hello. Thank you.
So how do you feel? Do you feel heartbroken? Be honest. You can be totally honest with us. You're so real on the show. Like it's
totally honest?
It's all good.
No, I'm not. Very heartbroken. No.
Not at all.
No, I honestly, at the end of the day, it was the right decision to send me home. Him and I just weren't.
Totally.
We were not good for each other at all. And
Charlie, can you move that mic real quick? I really want to look at Selma, her face. This one right here. Yeah, it's the worst. I'm like having to look at the prettiest girl.
This way?
Sure. Yeah. You get real close.
There we go.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Well, okay, so that's interesting. But when you got on the show, obviously you don't know who the dude is, so you can't have any feelings towards anything at that point. But once you meet him, I mean, was there a corner that you turned and you were like, okay, I could end up with this person, or does that ever happen?
Yeah, I mean, on our one-on-one date, I was totally like, okay, like, I could really fall in love with this man. He was so sweet. He was such a gentleman.
Right.
He was, like, just very polite, very Southern. But then I turned another corner at a point where I realized he wasn't very gentleman-like. And I don't know if he was just really, like, out of his mind with everything.
Right. Do you think that there's, because, a big thing that everyone's talking about Selma is that she chose to not jump in, like, 2-degree water, which, good call, girl, because I would have done that myself. But, he obviously had a thing with that.
Yeah.
Do you think he really had a thing with that? Or do you think that he's looking for things because he's got all these girls and he's got to figure out a way to shave them off, in some respect? Do you feel like whatever his criticisms are to whatever that was, they're a little harsher than in real life would be? Because, I mean, come on. You don't want to jump in 2-degree water. Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, I felt like he was... anybody who was willing to stand up to him or who, like, called him out on anything, he was like, you're going home. Like, he was like... and he told me at the very end, he goes, well, I want to be the leader in my relationship. I said, so be the leader. And
take charge.
So
I'm
take charge.
leaving it open for you to take a little charge.
But he obviously was just really upset that I wouldn't jump in. And I'm like, listen, I'm willing to do a lot. I climbed a 100-foot rock with,
Sure.
I mean...
To that point, you guys have already done a couple things that you really, probably wouldn't have done if you went on the show. And you're already learning stuff. I mean, yes.
Yeah.
Well, from his perspective, he said that once you make a decision, you don't change your mind. And then he asked you, he said, well, if you were my wife, would you have a discussion with me?
Okay. So he went on record and said, and I'm like, all right, I can't wait to tell people what I really said. I told him that, listen, if my children were drowning in that lake, if you were in danger, if anybody was in danger, a dog even, I would jump in and I would save that. But to just jump in for no reason, just to prove something to somebody, I said, I don't feel like I should put my life at risk like that. I know my body. I can't handle anything like that. I'd be in the hospital with Tiara right now.
Oh, my God. I would have married her on that episode for that explanation right there.
I said, and I go, listen, I said, but you can't peer pressure me. Once I have it in my head, like, no is no. I won't be peer pressured.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And then he turned that around and was like, oh, she said no is no, she won't compromise. And I'm like,
I so would have taken that as this girl isn't monkey see, monkey do. She's not here to do everything else that everybody's doing. She's here to make her own decisions. I would have loved that. I would have told all the other girls, the real thing here was that you weren't supposed to go in the plunge. Only one of you did it right.
You're all going home.
Yeah, you're all going home. See you later.
Well, what about the kissing?
Okay, so let's talk about the kissing. Did you want to punch him in the face after you finally kissed him on TV and then, he doesn't give you... I was mad for you watching that.
I mean, if you saw the look on my face, I was like, oh... Is that so? Let me see you out in public, buddy. Let me see you out in public. I love your spirit. I love it. You wait and see.
Yeah, because for the first time, which, by the way, on that episode specifically, it seemed like he would go into a campfire, make out with a girl, and then go to a new station about 15 feet away, make out with another girl on a couch, and then go to a different station onto a canoe and make out with a girl there. It was so, gross.
It was gross. And you know what? When I saw that, I was like, thank God I never made out with him. I pecked him on the lips, fine, but I never made... And I was like, I'm patting myself on the back.
You would have been swabbing saliva with
Yeah.
4 girls in a row.
Send me home. I don't care.
Yikes.
I do not want to make out with you after doing that.
Well, then that
We're talking to Selma. Selma from The Bachelor, by the way, local San Diego girl. We're so proud of her for getting the heck out of there. Go ahead, dude. Sorry.
But at the very beginning, what really inspired you to do this? Because obviously there was something in your mind that thought, okay, maybe I could find love this way, or I want to do this.
And if you say I've always wanted to be in front of cameras or whatever, that's totally fine too.
Yeah.
Be honest.
No, honestly, I actually never wanted to be in front of cameras. Everyone always pushed me like, "Oh, you should totally do television." I was like, "No,
Good.
you know." But it was more so, okay, I've hooked 3 of my friends up, and they're all married now. So I'm like, I believe in the process. I think that somebody can find someone for you.
Sure.
It works, but everyone kept telling me, just do The Bachelor. You should do it. And I was like, all right. I'm either going to get a vacation out of this or a husband.
Yeah.
So one of the two, a win-win situation.
Right.
And I got a vacation. So
That's
so
pretty
that was
awesome.
it. Yeah, I just needed to get away.
Yeah, because in a way, you went into it with an open mind. But at the same time, you knew there'd be some great things that you take from it. Either way.
Experience, friends, vacation, whatever it was. And I actually made lifelong friends.
Yeah, you did, right? Some of those girls are
I love
pretty
them.
close.
I love them.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I want to ask you more. I want to ask you about your family. I know you are
Iraqi
and
Iraqi.
Lebanese. Yeah.
I want to ask you about that. You grew up first few years in Iraq, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you about that in a second. I also want to ask you about, is it Tiara?
Tiara.
Tiara?
Fake,
I want to find
by
out what the
way.
heck you think about
Fake.
her. And you can be as honest as you want on this show, okay?
Crazy cuckoo.
Can you hang out for Delena's Dish, too?
Yes.
All right, more with Selma on Star 94.1. With her. Selma, we want to ask you next because one of the big parts about The Bachelor was that you really didn't want to give Sean a kiss on national television. It was a problem.
Yeah.
Because you have a very, very strict family.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us do.
Yeah.
What's your background? You're Iraqi, right?
Iraqi and Lebanese, yeah.
Interesting. So which one is your dad?
My father is Iraqi and my mom is half Iraqi, half Lebanese.
Got you. Now, what was cool earlier when you came in was you said that there's a crazy story about how your family ended up here in San Diego, and I want you to tell it to us.
Yeah, I mean, my father escaped the war, so he...
And what year was that, like 98 or no, 94?
No, actually, it was long before then, because they wanted him to be a part of their regime, so he, it was probably like 4 or 5 years before the war even broke out.
Oh, gotcha.
And when my mom was 6 months pregnant with me, my father escaped in the cockpit with my uncle. He was a pilot, so...
in the cockpit of like a jet or something?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I didn't even know my father until I was like 5, until I came to America with him, because they would not let us leave. And
So he came here to try to establish, so he could bring you.
yeah.
Wow, that's
That's,
so.
yeah, that's like the craziest 5-year plan you've ever heard. Like, let me escape my country, set it up for my family, then
Right.
get them out here. How many of you was there at that point when he was trying to get the whole crew out?
It was my mom, my sister, and I, and then my grandma also. My grandma's who brought us out here. My mom came before us, a year before we did, and
Right.
then we stayed with my grandma, and then we flew out here with my grandma, who actually just passed away. I know.
Oh,
It's
sorry
really
about
sad.
that.
Yeah.
Did she get to see you on TV?
God no.
Oh, okay.
She would have gotten all holy on me.
Oh, she would. Okay. Gosh, that's what I love about you. Is you have this great story, which you can tell you have a lot of speed bumps, and they're all surrounded by family, which is good. We all need a little speed bump every once in a while to keep us on the straight and narrow.
Oh, totally.
So let's talk about one that we know is not on the straight and narrow. We got to get into Delena's Dish here, but we wanted to get your take on
Tiara.
Tiara, right?
Tiara.
She's the one, and was it the New York Post, Jessica? Or
Yes.
Wall Street Journal? Someone had a
New
great
York
article
Post.
about her this morning about how the crazy girl in these dating shows now ends up being the front runner
Right.
because her being crazy is at the same time kind of strategically being smart.
I love how men are like, women are crazy. I'm like, well, stop going after the crazy ones. How's
Right.
that?
Right.
Like, that's a simple solution.
Yeah, what's your take on this? Does it seem like a no-brainer to him, or does she mask her craziness that well that he truly doesn't see it?
No.
Or, and I'll ask you in a third way, do you think producers take Sean aside and go, dude, you can't let the crazy one go yet. You need another week.
I honestly don't know. I could not figure it out. I'm like, this has to be the producers doing this. But then again, it's like, they're like, no, we seriously don't have a say in this. Like, he wants her here. And I'm like, okay, she would put like the act on as soon as she was with him. She'd like bat her eyelashes, but I'm like, you see crazy in her eyes. There is no
Has to know that she wasn't really hurt. She got hurt 3 times this season so far.
3 times.
And none of them she was actually really that hurt, right?
No.
No, you guys know when she fell down the stairs, she took a plunge.
Oh, that one was.
Oh,
she was
did she
hurt.
really hurt herself there? Okay, she did that.
It was
Okay.
really funny.
Let's laugh about it.
So mean. But the second I was like, oh my god, who is that? We went running out, and then we saw her, and we were like, man, I walked away.
Did you guys press pause on the DVR? I hope we didn't miss the last 30 seconds of our show we were watching. Can we get back to that?
Back to apples.
Okay, now that brings me to my last question, Selma, because we do have to do Jelena's dish, but it's been so fun hanging out with you. What do you do to kill time in those houses? Because I know, don't they turn the TV off? There's no magazines, there's nothing.
And you're all in the same room.
What the
and
heck
it's
do
twin
you
beds.
do?
Okay, well, with our girls, we basically just had slumber parties. We would cook all day long. We would do each other's hair and makeup and nails and manicures and pedicures and just talk about our life. And we played apples to apples a lot.
Like, we'll give you 3 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, 1 game. They gave us 1 game.
Wow.
So it was like, no wonder you go insane and,
Sure.
the girls start acting.
Going crazy,
Yeah.
and you should probably stir crazy just in general.
Mm-hmm.
They do that at the Ultimate Fighter house, and all the guys end up beating each other up. So I can't imagine. They do. If you ever watch that show, they all end up fighting each other. Well, duh, they're all caged animals. So it was so cool to meet you. I know you're not a real estate developer, but you work in real estate. Where do you work at? Give them a little shout out here, just so you can get some love.
Well, my sister and I actually own our own business. It's called Brio Ventures, and we flip homes. We don't develop, we flip. But they gave me a fancy title, so thank you.
I just wanted to, and I just got a text from my daughter who wants me to give you a little hello.
Oh, hi.
She's 10.
Aww.
Oh, that's
So I don't even know if she should be a fan of The Bachelor. But she says hi. Thanks for coming on today, Selma. It was great to meet you.
Thank you.
Elena,
So good to meet you.
and you can hang out a second. We're going to talk about Hollywood stuff. It's
Yeah.